welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie, and this is the week 1 of December the 2nd through the 8th reading wrap-up. Okay, hopefully my voice will settle down and you guys don't hear all that craziness going on outside my room. But this is the weekly wrap-up, like I said, for December the 2nd through the 8th. These are the books that I read in the first week of December. It started off a little rough. I got a lot to get through for this week. And I also have book mail. And you guys know Smutathon starts tomorrow on December the 10th. So I'm really excited about that and start talking about that. But let's get into what I actually read last week. So to start off the week, I started reading The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory. I placed this in contemporary. This is a black author. I DNF'd this book at 50%. I had it as an ARC from NetGalley, and I didn't actually read it when I had it before it was released. And I have recently received a paperback copy from the Read Bliss team, and I got it on audiobook and started listening to it. And I don't know what the hell happened. I probably should have did this review with a little wine, but it's like the beginning, it's the morning of my weekly wrap-up, so Sunday. And I can't drink wine right now, but I'm about to like, ooh, this book wasn't good. It was not good, which is why I DNF'd it. And I don't know if maybe it was the narrators, but I doubt it was the narrators that portrayed this story, because my other booktube friends wasn't feeling it as well, and we've had book discussions about it. Lauren from the novel Lush and Bree from Bree Hill. We all have pretty much the same thoughts on it. Can't believe that this is Jasmine's second book. We feel that she rushed it a little bit. This book follows Nick and Carlos. Carlos was a side character in The Wedding Date, and I actually enjoyed him in The Wedding Date, but in this book, where he is now the main lead, he comes off as chauvinistic and just overprotective. I was not feeling him. It was like he was a totally different person in his own book. And then we have Nick, who goes to a Dodgers game with her boyfriend, and then he ends up proposing to her. Well, he's a douche, and he spells her name wrong. They've only been dating for like 5 months, and he proposes to her at this major event. And it's like, wow, wow. And then the misgivings that each one of them have about the other sex, it's like, they put each other down, and I just wasn't feeling it. I mean, Nick kept going back to the fact that, you know, she doesn't need a man, but then she asks Carlos to, like, walk her in because she's getting these sketchy texts from her ex-boyfriend. I'm like, what? Is this the same author that wrote such a fun, sexy, sweet book, The Wedding Date? I didn't understand. I'm like, what happened? What happened? Jasmine does have the wedding party coming out soon, and I will be, you know, hunting that down. And hopefully she's learned from some of the things that happened in the first 2 books, you know, and is able to find a good balance. But yeah, this one wasn't good. Wasn't good at all. I then read Fight or Flight by Samantha Young. I place this in contemporary. I give this book 4 stars. I also received this as an ARC from NetGalley. However, it has released since then. I listened to it as an audiobook. And this book follows Ava and Caleb. I really enjoyed this book. Ava returns to her hometown after an event, and you don't know what the event is, but you meet Ava in the airport where she is just trying not to fall apart, and in walks Caleb, who is this Scottish guy that bumps into her, cuts her in line, gets that last first class seat onto the flight that they are trying to, you know, get on. They're both going to Boston, and just hijinks ensue, and they are just back and forth. Caleb is just always right there, niggling her on, like, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you, and it's like, oh my goodness, you just want her to blow her top. And once they finally get back to Boston, after they have this one night stand in Chicago, because they get a flight from Arizona to Chicago, Chicago to Boston, but they have to stay in Chicago, and they feel this attraction, but they have this, like, I need to hate sex with you, and then, you know, we can get that out of our system, and we can go from there. Well, they do that. It's sexy. It's fun. And I was laughing out loud through this entire book. And they get back to Boston. She tries to settle back into her life and, you know, get over the trauma that she had while she was in Arizona. And come to find out, they have some associates that are similar in nature, and they want to play matchmaker with them, and it's fun to watch them sort of interact now that they're in Boston, and things just happen, and it's laugh out loud funny. It was really good. There were some things that I didn't particularly care for, but at this moment I can't remember what they were to give you the negatives, but I did enjoy it, and I would re-listen to this book again. So that tells you I really liked it. The next book that I read was Lies, Web of Sin, #2 by Aleatha Roman, and this is a dark romance. I give this book 5 stars. I read it as an ARC. It has recently been released. You guys, this is the second book in Aranea and Sterling's story, and if you thought you were going to get some answers, you got no answers. No answers whatsoever. More secrets, more twists, more turns, and I just loved every minute of it. Loved every minute of it. I mean, in Secrets, you found out that Aranea has this past that she had no clue about. In Lies, which is this book, you find out that there are so many more twists and turns, and the power play between Aranea and Sterling are just off the chain. You find out some more about Sterling and how he is this millionaire that definitely has ties to Chicago, and he has to be able to differentiate his legit self and the things that go on in the underground of Chicago, and I loved every minute of it. He's trying to keep her safe. She has no clue about the truth that is going on in her past to know that she's actually in danger. She just wants to live her life, but she's also struggling with her past life that she didn't know anything about, that she's getting little bits and pieces of the truth from and little bits and pieces of knowledge from, and then trying to balance that with what her life was for the last 10 years. And now that she's being thrown into knowing that she had a past, you know, how does she balance that in her new life? And also the fact that she is sort of falling in love with Sterling, and she's trying to figure out, you know, how do I balance that as well? He's keeping secrets from me. He isn't necessarily lying to me straight out. He's lying by omission, and it's like, where do I find that balance, and how do I play that? And I'm just loving it. I love it. I love that Aranea is strong, even though she doesn't have all the answers. And I love that Sterling is that alpha male, but he's also has this heart that is just like, I know that I want to keep her safe because of the things that I know, and I can't tell her because then I might stress her, but at the same time, you know, I want to sort of let down my guard, and it's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And this is the second book, so we have another book coming out, so it does leave you on a cliffhanger, like legit, even a bigger cliffhanger than Secrets did. Lies, I was like, wait, Paige, Why? Why isn't there another page? Why isn't there another? That was me. That was so me. I was like, so Aleatha. Ugh, I can't wait to get Promises in my hands to find out the conclusion of Urania and Sterling's story. Can't wait. Can't wait. Can't wait. It's going to be so great. It's going to be epic. Then I read From Here to You, Crash and Burn #1 by Jamie McGuire. I placed this in New Adult. I give this book 3.5 stars. It was a arc from NetGalley, and I listened to it on audiobook. This book follows Darby and Tex. Darby, you meet right off the bat in the book. She is at her wedding. She finds out she's pregnant, and she determines that she refuses to stay in an abusive relationship with a person just because there's a child involved. So she has a good friend that steps up, helps her get out of this marriage before it's a marriage. At her wedding, she gets on a bus, takes off in her wedding dress, does the runaway bride thing because it's toxic, her relationship. Now, the things that I had wrong with this story is sort of the truth about some of the complexes that were named off in it, and also sort of the perception that is given about the military, law enforcement, and there was a lot of religious overtones that were placed into this story that weren't necessarily resolved. And I definitely think this is a spin-off of the Beautiful Disaster series that Jamie has, and also the Maddox Brother series. So those two series kind of feed into this one. You see a lot of characters from those two series in this book, and it was just too much. Just too much. And then that whole overtone of religion, and I was just like, I wanted to really enjoy it, and I just couldn't. Obviously Tex was involved in the other books, in the other series, because when he interacts with the characters from those other series, he's like, oh yeah, that happened in our past, and you know, that happened here or that happened there. And I'm like, okay, so where does this story fit in this world of the Maddox brothers? I'm not understanding how they all fit together to make this complete story. So I really feel that I needed to read the Maddox Brothers series and the Beautiful Disaster series before I read this book to fit it all together and make it a whole. So it just wasn't my cup of tea, but I could see how someone would enjoy it. The next book I read was Red Hot Winter by Webster. This is an erotic short story. I give it 5 stars. Yes, please come at me. Please come at me. Please. Listen to it on the podcast for Read Me Romance. This book follows August and winter. As I said, it's a short story, so it's real quick, fast, and in a hurry. 5 days was released on the podcast, and whew, so hot. So very, very hot. Very steamy. Very August is the father of Winter's friend. Winter is sort of the stepdaughter, so it has some taboo sort of connotation with it. And I just loved it. I loved it. It was so hot and steamy. I mean, if you like Webster's other taboo, sexy, crazy, twisted books, then you're going to enjoy this one. If you are not down for the dirty, nasty, sexy, taboo craziness that Webster likes to bring to a fiction story, then I would say pass on this. But if you are down for it, it's going to melt your panties. It's going to melt them panties. Melt them. So melt them. And then the final book that I read last week was Next in Line by Amy Daws. I place this in rom-com. I give this book 4.525 stars. I read it as an arc. It is newly released, just recently released as of last week. And this story follows Maggie and Sam. Maggie is a woman that got dumped on Christmas, or Christmas Eve. And then she decides to go and find some adventure because her ex decided to tell her she was boring. You're boring, so I can't marry you. He is a NFL hopeful, and he's like, I don't know what I want to do after college, and I don't want you to do anything until we figure out what we're going to do or which team I'm going to be picked up on. Whew. Maggie kind of, you know, rubbed me the wrong way, but in the end, she turned out to be really sassy for a 22-year-old to, you know, kind of figure out what she wants and, you know, how she wants to live her life. And she decided, you know, hey, I wanted to, you know, get this guy back, so I'm going to go and do some adventurous things. So when she meets Sam, she is in the tackle store to go ice fishing because she saw it as she was driving to her brother's house in Boulder, Colorado, and she's like, I want to try that. So she goes into the tackle store and is like, I need a pole, I need, you know, whatever else to go ice fishing. Well, Sam is in the tackle store. The ice fishing season has just started, and he's like, oh, this pretty is gonna freeze to death if she goes out on the ice in her getup. So he helps her out, gets her some fishing gear, gets her some snow clothes and stuff like that. Well, come to find out they have an attraction. Oh, do they have sexual chemistry? Yes, they do. And he helps her out with the ice fishing one weekend, and then he helps her out again, takes her back out there to ice fish again, and they're like, oh no, we can't. You want to get back with your ex, so this is what you're doing. Well, come to find out, there are a whole bunch of things that she decides to start doing to try and set up a way for her ex to take her back. And hijinks ensue of outdoorsy extreme sports nature. Come to find out, Sam is her brother's best friend and also co-worker, so it's very interesting to see that unravel. And if you read Wait For Me by Amy Daws, you have seen Sam before, and you have seen her brother, and you know who Kate is, and it's just fun. It is so much fun. It's like laugh out loud. And then they have these kids in the story that are comic relief, and I loved all of the, this is what kids say, the, oh my gosh, kids say the damnedest things. Yes, you get that in this book as well, along with their fun and crazy sexual chemistry. And yes, so good. So very good. So that is what I read last week. Let's get to what I am currently reading and what I will be hinting to next week. I am currently reading Craving Mr. Kinky by Joanne Schwehm and A.M. Madden. I can technically listen to this book as part of Smutathon, but I'm still on the edge if I'm going to or not. And that's the only book that I'm currently reading. And then for Smutathon, you guys know, if you have watched my TBR, I have picked 14 different books for these 7 categories, and if I can do it, I'm going to be pretty much connected to my Audibles and really getting these books in, because technically to do all the challenges, I have to listen to 1 book a day, because that's 7 challenges for 7 days, and that means I'm going to have to be burning my ears off, but I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. I got this. I got this. It's going to be simple. Other than that, if you want to know what those books are, check out the TBR right there. I also forgot to let you guys know that if you guys want to see my Smutathon reactions and everything like that, I got mixed reviews on if you guys liked the fact that I was going to do Instagram stories, or I got mixed reactions. I did a poll on Instagram, and I did a poll on Twitter, and I also did a poll in the community section of YouTube. So you guys still have time to vote. Please let me know if you guys think it's more interactive when you guys see me on Instagram stories. Do you guys even watch Instagram stories to let me know, you know, hey, this is what I'm doing. These are my reactions at the moment, in the moment, things like that. Please let me know, because it's weird to do Instagram stories and not know if you guys are watching them or not. So let me know also down in the comments. So let's get to some book mail that I got last week, because I had an influx of book mail. I don't know if I received this last week or if it was the week before that, but I did receive a copy of Gravel Road by Steffi Walls. This is a signed copy. I actually got 2 copies of it. I will be doing a giveaway for this book. If you guys saw my review for this, you know that it is filled with angst and romance, and all the proceeds went to a good cause. That's why I bought 2 of them, one to give away and one for my shelf back there. Yes. So this book follows Austin and Miranda. Yes. They are childhood sweethearts, and something tragic happens. Miranda leaves, Austin stays. Then you have to figure out what happened between the 2 of them, why there is such this misconception that there is hate between the 2 of them, and so good. So angsty. I don't want to spoil anything else for you, but so good. So good. So Steffi Walls. So Steffi Walls. I also received a package from Amazon, and I don't know what it is, but I know it came from my friend Amanda over at the Naughty Librarian. And let's see. Alrighty, so she got me a book that she thinks that I would like. And I'm going to botch this name, but oh well. It is Rock Addiction, a Rock Kiss novel by Nyla Sinjel. I don't know what that, yeah. But that it is, and it looks like it's a contemporary romance that's sizzling. A bad boy wrapped in a sexy, muscled, grown-up package might be worth a little risk. Molly Webster has always followed the rules. After an ugly scandal tore apart her childhood and made her the focus of media harsh spotlight, she vowed to live an ordinary life. No fame, no impropriety, no pain. Then she meets Zachary Fox, a tattooed bad boy rocker with a voice like whiskey and sin, and a touch that could become an addiction. A one-night stand with the hottest rock star on the planet. That's all it was meant to be. That's all I'm going to read you from the back of this, because I might actually have to, like, jump into this for my one-night stand for Smutathon. It wasn't on my list, but I might have to try this, because this sounds very, very steamy and sizzly. Thank you, Amanda. I'm going to enjoy this. I also received a package from HarperCollins. I think I won a book over on Instagram. I entered a giveaway from there, so I think that's what this is. Oh, let's see. Let's see. This is Christy Carlisle's The Duke's Den. I think that's actually it's called A Duke Changes Everything. And I believe it's a romantic or historical romance, and this is an art copy. So, yes. In the first novel in Christy Carlisle's sizzling Duke's Den series, 3 men intend on making a fortune, discover irresistible opportunities. Nicholas Lyon gambled his way into a fortune and ownership of the most opulent, notorious gentlemen's club in England. But when his cruel brother dies, he inherits a title he never wanted. The sooner Nick is rid of the estate that has always haunted him, the sooner he can return to his life he's built in London. But there's one obstacle: the exquisite Thomalisan Thorn. I'm kind of feeling this. I'm kind of feeling this. I can't wait to dive into this. and see what happens, because I've never read a Christy Carlisle book, so it's going to be interesting to check this out. So that is my weekly wrap-up, my book mail, what I'm currently reading, all the mentions of Smutathon that I will, you know, put in. And just to let you guys know, I changed my genre-thon requirement. I was going to do contemporaries, but I read so many contemporaries that it would just be a rehash of everything that I read. So I changed it to catching up on my past arcs. So this week I read quite a few books that I had previously had as arcs, and you will see those again on the list. So that's what I'm doing. But I'm going to wrap this up now. Have you read any of the books that I just mentioned? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later.